Hello, my dear friends. It's great to connect up with you again. And in a series of understanding the science and philosophy behind the SSB process, this is the video which we will today talk about what all does it take to give a good interview. How and the whys and the whats and all those things that you had in mind. And beyond that, see how you can improve. So all those people who have got the first important thing that we should talk about here is about public speaking. See, you should be a good public speaker, an orator, and an expressive person. That is a prerequisite. Here it is a one-on-one interview. There are nobody else. This is the vacha part of the mansa vacha karmana, which is about how you talk. So in my opinion, everybody who can know how to talk would be able to give a very good interview. It's all about how you talk. So as I told you, there are 4 important ingredients in public speaking, and we have covered it in the previous videos. Please see that video. I will leave a description in the description. I will leave a link to which video you want to see, so that it becomes clarity where I'm talking about the 4 C's. That is the communication skills, the confidence level, the clarity of thought, and the content. So these 4 C's will form a public speaking. So that is very much important. And in this, the communication skills per se, when we talk about, obviously, it is about your body language, your demeanor, your tone, your tenor, and finally it will come to the speech itself. So you should be very, very clear in speaking. So you should not have fillers like or try to repeat see, I want to say, see, that kind of repetitive thing. So these are all deal breakers in the whole process of trying to convey your views, ideas, opinions, feelings, belief systems, all those things when you're talking to the other person. So keep that in mind. So, and whenever you are preparing for the SSB, for the interview, see, talk it out, because it's a Viva exam finally at the end of it, if you call it in the traditional sense. So you should be able to talk and understand how you sound like. Tell it. So mirror talking is one way of seeing yourself. Again, a live video like a Zoom session or something like that, where there are 2-3 people whom you are talking to, and the other person is also listening to you, and you are seeing yourself live as to how you speak, is a very, very beautiful and important way of understanding. Because many times people feel underconfident when they are speaking, and they can't see themselves live. So when you're in a live situation, you are sitting and talking to each other, you can't see yourself. But in a Zoom session, if you're talking to somebody else, so you are able to see the other person also and see yourself also in the video. So that would be the real sense, the closest that you can get to see how you feel in a live atmosphere. Okay, so try to do that. So now I have devised a very simple way of explaining to you what all comprises in an interview. And it is called as a 3 + 2 + 1 method. 3 + 2 + 1. So if you understand this, what is this 3 + 2 + 1, that will tell you in detail what all you have to prepare yourself in the interview. So the starting point for that obviously is the PIQ, the Personal Information Questionnaire. So that is the guide, that is the starting point, that is the basics of a PIQ. So 2 areas, that is a psychology test which we have covered in the previous interview, previous video, and the interview. See, the PIQ is very, very important. It should be a recommendable PIQ. So when the psychologist or the interviewing officer is looking at your PIQ, it should sound as if, yeah, so this is a PIQ this is a candidate whom I want to see, and see whether he can live up to whatever he has written, he or she. So pay attention to your PIQ, understand your PIQ, remember your PIQ. Many times students don't remember what they have written. They don't even understand what they have written. What do they mean when they are writing down things? So we will cover up the whole philosophy of writing a good PIQ subsequently in some other video and we can cover up that. But today we will concentrate, once you have written the PAQ, how do you live up to that? So that concept is the 3 plus 2 plus 1 concept. So what is this 3 plus 2 plus 1? The 3 is the CIQ, the comprehensive information questions that are asked to you. The 3 sets of questions, what you people call the rapid fire question. We don't call it rapid fire, it looks rapid to you people. So it is a set of questions which is asked one after the other, and you have to remember the sequence and what all question has been asked, and then you have to answer that. So there are the 3 set of CIQs which are asked. So what all do you cover in the 3 set of CIQs? That is the 3 part. So the first obviously would be your educational and your professional journey in your work. So these 2 could comprise of the first set of CIQs. It could start from your 8th or 9th, the schools that you studied in, the subjects you liked and disliked, about your teachers. The questions could be asked, what do you like about them, what you don't like, what were the decisions that you took to do the 11th and 12th, which subject, commerce, arts or science, or the subjects that you took, what were the reasons for that. See, if you have changed your school, what was the reasons of your changing your schools. Again, lay your likes and dislikes about your subjects and teachers. See, then what were the percentages that you got in your 10th and your 12th and your 11th also, and what were the reasons for that. What were the strengths and weaknesses in the subjects. Okay, so once you talk about 12th, then what were the decision making points for you to do the graduation in which you did. What was the motivation level to do that. Thereafter, year wise, your educational journey, your achievements in your education. There's a column itself in the PIQ which talks about that. So where all have you achieved, what all have you achieved is an important aspect. So thereafter, the campus placements are for all those people who have finished their engineerings or their graduations. What were the reasons of you to take a decision of pursuing higher studies or taking a job? In the job, whether you are in the core or you have taken the standard computer coding kind of setup in which India is very good at. See, generally everybody lands up there. What were the reasons? How did you perceive all those things? What has your achievements in your job in the last 1 year or 6 months or 2 months or 2 years? Or if you have taken your post-graduation, what were the reasons for that? These are important questions that would be asked. They would also ask you about your plan B. Very, very important question. So if, yes, the fact that you are giving your SSBs, or you have given a few SSBs earlier, or this is your first time, so obviously this is the plan A. But what is plan B? You can't depend only on plan A. So the stronger your plan B, the stronger your commitment and your aspirations. So have a strong plan B. Be clear about what you have planned to do. Why you want to do it. The why. Everywhere the why question has to be answered very, very clearly in your mind. What is the motivation level of joining the forces? How did you arrive at that? So everywhere you should have that answer available with you. Where are you best suited for in the defense? What do you like the best in the defense? Army, Navy or the Air Force. And where are you best suited for? They could be same or they could be different. If they are different, what is the reason for that? If they are same, how you can be an asset to the organization? Again, the why will be important. So these are a few questions which are important. Thereafter, here only, what preparation have you done for the SSB? How you have approached this SSB for a fresher? Very important. How for a repeater, one more thing can get added. How differently have you prepared for this SSB, and what do you think you did the mistakes in your previous SSBs? Have you analyzed that? And how differently have you prepared? So it can't be in the superficial level. See, you will have to introspect and do something differently to achieve results. See, you have done something. You have not reached the standards if you are a repeater. So you have to do something differently to improve your standards, which are required by us. So then, please see my other previous videos again to understand what is the philosophy behind it. doing things differently or doing different things. Both have got their own importance. You should be able to differentiate between these two aspects, doing things differently and doing different things. Sometimes this is important, sometimes this is important. But if you jumble up both of them, then you land up in a soup. You are not focused enough and understanding enough to know what has to be done at what time. So this is one important area in this educational and professional journey. See your achievements in your job. How have you improved and matured as a person? If you are doing higher studies, how you can be an asset? So these are some important questions that has to be answered. The second of the three is about your family and friends, your superiors and your colleagues, your parents. So whenever you're talking about it, see, a set of questions would be asked. Tell me about your father, your mother, your brothers, sisters. What kind of advice do you give them? What kind of things that they advise you? Where all have you done? So have instances ready in life. Where have you given this? Again, the 5 important things: likes and dislikes, strengths and weaknesses, and areas of improvement. What do you tell them and what do they tell you? With examples in life, with instances in life. Where exactly have you done all these things? Should be having a clarity. And whenever you're talking about them, give some time to explain about your father, mother, your brother, sister when the questions are being asked. So from your answers from here, the second line of questioning will start. So depends upon how you answer here. Again, some allied questions which could be asked is, what is your routine? How do you spend a working day? Or a day in which you have to go to college? Or a day that you have to work? And obviously on a Saturday and a Sunday or a holiday. So you will obviously have a different routine. So your organized lifestyle will showcase what all do you do in a day and whether you are justifying your PIQ or not. So you should be able to justify your PIQ in your daily routine, your preparation model, your aspirations, your sports, hobbies, your timeline that you focus on, how much of effort can you put in. So you be genuine out there. So if you are leading a genuine lifestyle, see, that will be showcased here. If you try to just bluff your way through, it is easily caught. And that would be a very, very big deal breaker in the interview. And second important a question which can come out is your financial prudence. How do you spend your money is a very, very important, to the rupee. If in college you are being funded by your parents, or how did you fund your schooling and college, and how much money do you get from your parents, or how do you earn, how do you fund yourself if you're not working and you are just preparing for the SSB, or you're going to college. So there are 3 categories of people here. The first category is working professionals. The second category is those who are doing higher studies. And the third set of who are preparing for competitive exams. So obviously these 3 categories has got its own advantages and disadvantages. So you should be able to understand the advantages and disadvantages and focus that, and the way you answer will depend on these 3 things. So I will not go into further details as to what are the permutation combination on this. In case you want to know more about it, obviously do contact me. I'm always there. Write a message. I will answer that. And that will help you, because that will go on a completely different direction. So that again would be a one-to-one mentorship program that we have, where I will be able to make you understand. But suffice to say, focus on all those things. Financial prudence is a very important aspect to the whole SSB preparation. If you're working and you have saved some money, what all have you spent on, and how have you been saving? Is a very important question. And the third set of questions in the CIQ obviously would be on your sports, hobbies, and interests and extracurricular. Right from school time to college time to office. How have you spent your time and on these aspects? College cultural team, college इवेंट टीम, कॉलेज में some workshops, seminars, debating team. NCC is a very important aspect where you are doing extracurricular. Apart from your studies, you are going to NCC. What all have you understood in the NCC? So your levels have to be high in the say, defense knowledge or something like that. How do you know? See, why have you chosen this skill of say hobbies or an interest? Becomes very important out here. So try to understand that this in relation to the video in which I have talked about content. See how best it can manage, how best you can showcase yourself out here. That would help us in improving. See, so you have got more types of hobbies, more types of interests, more extracurricular activities you have worked, or in NCC you have worked on. It was important. Like for example, hobbies. See, there could be some hobby which is intellectual in nature, some hobby which is creative in nature, some hobby which is action oriented, like an adventure camp you have attended or something like that. So there are actionable hobbies. So there are various kinds of hobbies. So are you a well-rounded personality, and are you timing effort and time on that, on your extracurricular, on your interests? So what is the difference between an interest and a hobby? Obviously has to be very clear. See what you are interested in, and that gets converted to a hobby later on, and that gets converted to a extracurricular activity, and then finally you may make it into a profession. So that is how the stages in which it will go ahead. So you have to be clear about that in your interview. So now this is the 3 part, the 3. Now come to the 2. What are 2? The first main 2 is, the first is current affairs and GK. At any given time, you should be aware what's happening in India and abroad, what's happening in defense, and obviously the GK part, aware of things, what's happening. So some questions would come out of it. Current affairs and GK, at any given time, at least have, see, I have told about 8 of them you should be following at any given time. 2 international current affairs, 2 national current affairs, 2 international current affairs in which India is not involved, it's world, and obviously 2 defense news. At any given time, at least this thing you should be tracking. And obviously, apart from that, some interest of yours. Like for example, you are interested in playing football. So what is happening in the football world, it may not be of world importance, but for you it is important. For as a personality, because you are the person who is watching football. So you should be aware what's happening in the football world. Maybe the other person who's not playing football may not know this, but you as a person should know this. So what is important to you is an important aspect. Okay. So that is how you should do. The second part of this too is what? It's about defense knowledge and defense technology, and the science behind this defense technology, the physics behind it. So these two again are very, very important. So you should be clear about it. So takriban theek answers are not good enough. You should know exactly about the defense knowledge and exactly the technology behind it. Even if you are a non-technical person, you have done commerce and arts, but you're coming, see, the basic things you have to know. That, like for example, I am not a doctor, but I know if you have a headache, you have to take a Disprin. If you have a muscle pain, you have to take a Brufen. There is one heart, 2 lungs, 1 liver, 2 kidneys. I know that I am not a doctor. Yes. So similarly, you have to know about what's going on, even though you are not technically qualified to answer that, but you should know about it, the basics of it. You cannot say. And in case you know more, obviously it's a clear-cut indication that you have put in efforts to understand, even though it was not your subject. You cannot say, sir, I am a science student, I'm not a science student, I'm a commerce student, therefore I am not. So that would be just giving up. Or I am not a finance student, I have done science, so I don't know about how the Indian economy runs. It would be a very, very lame excuse out there. So cross-functional understanding of subjects is a very important aspect, and also it gives an indication that you have put in efforts to understand and come prepared for the SSB. So don't try to be in your comfort zone. Go beyond that. So 3 I have covered Two I've covered. Now I'll come to the one. Situations. Situations. So some situations could be given to you. Hypothetical situations from your life. You're a traveler. You like traveling. Suppose you are traveling and this happens. Suppose you are working. See, in your work, your boss tells you this, or your colleague tells you this, or your parents are there. See, he's something. So your father tells you, what advice will you give him? So there's a situation which is coming up. You should be able to handle all those situations. And let me tell you, these current affairs, GK, defense knowledge, defense tech, and these situations are all embedded into the CIQ. They are not separate sections. So whenever the CIQ is going on, the second line of questioning is the time when these questions will be posed, and it will be embedded into the interview. There will be no separate sections. So be aware of it. Now this has gone to this part of the whole interview. Once you understand that, thereafter your interview will go smooth. And these questions will come in provided you answer the first set of questions correctly. Then these things will start happening. They are embedded into it. So you can talk in such a way and make people go in where your strengths are there and where your weaknesses are. Showcase that. Don't worry about it. Remember those questions, the sequence of questions. So there are two ways in which the interviewer handles this. So interviewer may ask a complete set of questions, and then you have to keep answering, and he will keep nodding his head and writing down something or doing something. It's okay. And once you finish, thereafter he will ask you the secondary set of questions. Okay, you were telling about this, explain. Give me an instance. Give me an example on this. Where do you think? What happens? How do you perceive this? What is your opinion on this? What else have you read? Where have you read from? What is your understanding? What will your father tell? What will your mother tell? What will your friend tell? Something like that will come out of it. And the second way of the questions will be the set of questions have been asked, and in between interruptions will be there. Okay, hold on. 12th May you did this thing. Tell me why. And then, okay, once you have explained, then he said, okay, continue. Okay, second year this happened. Tell me why. Or how do you handle this? Continue. So wherever you have left, you have to continue from there. So you have to remember that. So many times students ask me, sir, I don't remember. I can't remember. Sorry. That is not an excuse. So we want people who remember. That is a basic requirement, the minimum requirements. You remember things, the questions that have been asked. You cannot say, sir, I have forgotten now. Can you repeat your questions? So though obviously, if you forget, you will have to ask that. But there is a way of asking also. So then the tone and tenor will come into the picture. So find out your own methods as to how you want to ask it decently. Sir, I've forgotten. The best way is not to forget. You're sharp, that means. So practice on concentration with meditation and yoga is a very beautiful way of improving your concentration levels. So try that in case that's a problem. There are other methods. Find out your own method of start concentrating, because that excuse, sir, I can't remember, is not acceptable. So in the overall picture, so it will take about 40-45 minutes, or it can be as short as 30 minutes. It can go on as long as 1.5 hours also. So don't worry about it. Don't worry why your interview is going on like that. Every 5 days, the interviewing officer is taking about 15 interviews. So yes, he's got phenomenal experience. He can use any methodology to try to understand about you. Don't worry about it. See, concentrate on what answer you will have to give. That would be my final advice to you people. So once you are having and understanding all the 6 things for the interview, I think your interview will go on beautifully. Don't be anxious. Your body language, be properly, be dressed, be in the best dress that you have got. Well-groomed personality, nails cut, hair cut, shaved, wearing a decent dress. See, right shoes, right belt, right formal for the women, right formal dress. It could be an Indian dress or a Western dress, whatever you feel comfortable in. Not because somebody else is wearing that dress, I should also. Whatever you feel comfortable and confident. That should be the dress. But it should be sober and professional, formal kind of setup. Indian or Western. Be properly be dressed. Be focused. Carry your certificates along with you, even if it is not asked, but it will give you confidence. That would be my final advice. Thank you very much. I hope it has been useful for you. I hope with this video you will be able to understand the interview philosophy better, the science behind it better. Meet you in the next video. Please subscribe to the channel, like in case you like it, tell it to others. It would encourage us to bring in more videos. Thank you very much.